Hi, I'm Becca.
Hi, I'm Emma.
And this is
Life in Quarters.
So I have the best news on planet Earth that could ever possibly shared with any people ever here.
Slay.
Are you ready for it?
I was born ready for it.
Okay, you already know this. But for everybody else in our circle of friendship, Emma opened a Crew Finance account. If you follow me on social media, if you're familiar with my social media, you'll know that I'm obsessed with Crew Finance and have been for a couple of months. I think it is like by far the most customizable bank account out there. Love the way that the debit card works. I made my Crew Finance account a joint account for me and my husband. And then Emma came to me with like the best proposition ever. And she said, you can help me open a Crew Finance account. And I did. And I had the greatest time ever. And yeah, so far, Emma likes it as far as I'm aware. Go ahead, Emma.
I feel like also, it wasn't just opening a Crew Finance account. I came to you and was like, I'm budgeting. We were supposed to be recording an episode of the podcast. And we were editing. We were editing the June episode of the podcast. And I was like, hey, sorry, give me a second. I'm budgeting. I'm working out my budget. And then I was like, Becca, here is every single item in my budget. Do whatever you want. I gave her my login to Rocket Money. I gave her my login to my Google. I gave her my login to everything. I was like, take my social security number and my mother's maiden name too while you're at it.
Well, actually, I don't even think you said, hey, open a Crew Finance account for me. I kind of slid that in there and I went,
Yes.
so would you be open to opening an account at Crew Finance? Because I think it would really, potentially help. But if not, that's okay too. I can make whatever you got work. And you were like, I would be open to making a Crew Finance account.
Yeah.
And you asked some questions. I don't remember what they were. I think you asked if it would impact your credit. And I was like, nah, it's just a bank account.
I also asked if
they just asked for your information.
I asked if we got an APR.
Yeah.
I asked
Interest.
Yeah, responsible financial questions, which makes me proud of myself. I feel like you've been rubbing off on me.
And you asked if there was a subscription fee, too.
Yes.
There is not. And it's a high-yield spending account. So the APY right now, as of today, is 2.95%. But you sign up with a referral code, which is Life in Quarters. So you got an extra APY boost of 0.5% for the next 3 months. We both love it.
I really, really, really like it. It's super cute. If you're watching the video on YouTube right now, it came in this cute little card. Like my debit card came in this cute little card, and they said, thanks for moving to Crew. We're thrilled to have you. It was very cute. I was like actively making sure there wasn't anything that was damnable on that card. I'm still a little worried after I gave away my phone password and had to change it.
I made a video where I opened up my husband's debit card when it arrived. It came in the mail and I went, give me that. I'm going to open it for a video. I'm so stoked about this.
And you get to pick the color of the debit card. And I picked yellow, and mine's a really cute yellow debit card, which I really, really like. But I think the best thing thus far, so creating the budget as a whole was great. During my last luteal phase, which is PMSing, I happen to have an incredibly long PMS because I've tried, this is all pertinent information. I have an incredibly long PMS. It's 10 days out of every single month I am PMSing. But the good thing about PMSing is that you're in your editing stage of focus, basically. Like all of your energy is geared towards editing and analyzing whether or not the steps you've taken are going to be the best to move you forward properly. And so typically I'm just like burdened with immense anxiety. But I had like 1 million documents to fill out. And then I had 1 million things to do for something else cool that I'm a part of right now. And then I was like, and now I'm going to create a budget. I'm going to stare my money in the face. Because, like, I have been financially responsible this whole time, but it's been hard. It's, like, been super hard. And the way I think about it all the time is that Becca was like, so are you just doing mental math all the time? And I was like, yeah. And she was like, do you like it? And I was like, no. I hate it.
Because some people do. Like my husband, his whole system is he's used to having a checking account, a savings account, and he just mental maths his way through every transaction. And when I go, that's a lot of work and a lot to keep track of, and it kneecaps me every single time, he goes, I just don't understand how that could be. So I didn't know if you were like that. I didn't know if that was you.
I think I was just like, it was the only way. Because I also kind of was already doing what Crew does, but with like many, many more steps. And I was the one that was in charge of all of it because I kept most of my money in Venmo and then I would dole it out to myself. So I've also always had 2 accounts on my Wells Fargo. And so like I dole out my money to myself like per purchase. So I'd always have to be looking at my money. And then when I got Ally, they had the buckets. So it was a slightly enhanced version of like what I was already doing. I've been really good about like looking at my money in the face and doling it out to myself. But like what's always been hard for me is that mental math of being like, I need to make sure I've got the money. It's just like having to constantly be focused. It's like the difference between being like, I have a million things to do tomorrow and I need to remember them all, or saying I have a million things to do tomorrow. I'm going to make a to-do list. And that's
100%.
I feel like that's what Crew did for me. And it's been really fun. I like it.
Good so far. I know. I'm waiting for Emma to call me and be like, I hate it now.
No, I like it.
Did something.
I like it a lot.
I'm very excited.
No,
I know. My husband likes it too, even though he's, he's like, you only need one account and one card. And you just keep it all in your noggin.
Crazy.
No.
I love it. I called Becca when I was at Barnes & Noble the other day, and I was like, I feel like I'm going door to door. And I'm like, have you heard of Crew Finance? Because it'll change your life. Because I was so excited because it doled out my weekly allowance money and my gas money to me from, I guess you can explain this better than I can, but it was like, wow, Sky Daddy gave me my allowance for the week. I'm thrilled.
Automations, money transfer automations, they'll change your life.
Yes. No, it's really cool because now instead of being, I realized that day when I called Becca too that like before this, and I'm hoping it will continue because of course there's the level of novelty and like with ADHD,
yes.
Like I too am being like trepidatious, hesitant to be.
What is it? Cautiously optimistic.
I'm very cautiously optimistic. But when I was at Barnes & Noble, I was like, I'm buying myself a book with my fun money because I've worked it into the budget that I can have some money for stuff that I want to buy throughout the week, like little treats is what I call it. And I realized because I hadn't been setting aside that money, despite the fact that I had money to buy myself the things I wanted. And there also shouldn't be shame in buying yourself the things you want, of course, within reason, like everything in moderation. I was feeling guilty for every single purchase I made, necessity or otherwise, because I was constantly like, I don't have the money for this. Even if I did, because I didn't have the money in the spots that I needed the money to be in because I didn't understand where the money was. And then I got my $75 into my fun money and I was like, wow, I get to spend this. I could spend all of this week if I want to. That's my prerogative. This is what this money's for. It was like a gift card. It was like I turned my own money into a gift card and I was stoked about that.
I don't know, it's a load off and I'm glad that it works for your brain the same as it does for mine because it's just so nice to see it all categorized. It's spending from your budget.
Yes.
So if anybody out there would like to start spending from their budgets, we have Crew Finance linked in the show notes and also in our profile bios. So remember to use the code LIFEINQUARTERS to get that bonus APY.
Yes, because it's awesome too. It's nice. It's also nice that like a checking account is
free?
earning interest. Yes. I love that you can mark on the thingy on the app which pocket you want it to be spending from. Because then I always know that it's coming from the right spot. So like I'll click it and I'll be like, I want to spend from little treats and little treats only. Or if I'm doing transportation, I'll be like, I only want to spend from transportation. And then I know it's on the right thing. So I'm not going to accidentally be spending money that I forget about. Or that I have to be like, remember that you spent that money so you don't spend money later.
I'm so excited. I'm so excited that you're at Crew and that like it's going where it needs to go and doing what it needs to do. And yeah, I don't ever want to like overhype it to people because I feel like it's so hard to be like, hey, I like this tool and I think it's genuinely useful without it being like, do you want to change your whole life? Like
that's what I called you saying. I was like, I do feel like I'm going door to door being like, wow, have you ever heard of?
Yeah, I know.
Because I've got such a propensity to do that too. I'm like, this new thing will change your life. But they're usually really good. I have realized I need to potentially divvy up my weekly allowance into fun, like little treats, and then like unexpected necessities, I think is what I'd call the other pocket.
That's a good one, like a little safety net spending pocket.
Because it gets me. I'm like, I need toothpaste, I guess. And I had to like buy acetaminophen as a little treat last week. And I was like, that feels like I got spat in my face. That's not a little treat. I have a concussion. I have a
You're
concussion.
like, ooh, medicine. What a luxury.
I'm like, oh God, I have to buy toilet paper. A little treat. I did realize that like weekly I do need like at least I'd say probably like 50, but I could probably get away with like, I don't know, 35.
See, what we have is my husband and I, we have 4 pockets now.
Oh.
We have food, so just groceries, eating out, anything edible could count as food. Transportation, gas, usually we don't Uber, we don't take public transportation, it's just gas basically. And then other are joint things that we both will benefit from. So like toothpaste or, even if one of us gets a haircut or
Yeah.
eyebrows done or something like that, that comes out of our joint other bucket. If we also need shampoo or, whatever, that comes out of other. And then we finally added in his and her spending this week, which was totally new. I was hesitant to add these to our spending pockets because I was just like, our spending budget is kind of at max capacity. So if we're going to have his and her spending, we need to reallocate our other stuff. So pretty much I decided that if there's any money left over in our food category, then that will be split between his and her spending.
That's smart. I think that's a really good idea.
Because,
I'm thinking that for my brain, because I love the way that like even naming the different pockets, different things, I think is really helpful. Because if I did other, I realized the reason that I can't lump it all together is that I'll feel guilty for anything fun I buy myself. Because I'll be like, what if you have an unexpected necessity? You're being wasteful.
You can call it being alive. That's what I used to call one of mine.
Well, I actually like unexpected necessity.
Okay.
Honestly, for me, I'm like, yeah, that is exactly what I'm like. Oh, I do need shampoo, and that
Surprise, you need this.
and I'm like, being a grown up sucks. Fine.
I nicknamed my bills account at one point. I nicknamed it under protest.
I loved that. I like that a lot. The 2 pockets I need to make are the gifts for family and friends. And then I think
I call mine loved ones.
Yeah, I think loved ones would be good. And then the unexpected necessities. Because actually, that's been my biggest... Because I've been really, really patient with myself and really gentle with myself. But I've done a really good job sticking to my budget. And then even with my first 2 weeks of fun money... Anything I went over in my fun money from 1 week, and like we're like talking like $10, I took away from next week's fun money. So I've actually been doing. I'm like,
that's hard to do. That takes a lot of self-discipline.
I was like, you robbed Peter. You got to pay Paul. Sorry, buddy.
Yeah.
That's not how that saying goes.
Because it's hard to do that without it being like this is a punishment that like snowballs into just like guilty behavior.
Yeah. No, and then.
So I commend you.
Thank you. I think again. A lot of the things I did with money before getting crew and before like really like the spreadsheet that Becca made me also is deeply helpful because I don't know how to do the formulas on Google Sheets. And so like us making it like hourly really helped. I was like, I can, because my income changes on a dime, basically. It's like it's consistent. The average is consistent, but the actual like income is not. And so like the way that she set it up makes it so I can be like, oh, I lost that hour, I gained that hour. Like I can like just change the hours and it'll adjust the entire like income of it. What was I saying?
I don't know, but I think that something a lot of people don't know is that like you and helping you figure out what works for your money flow and your budget and stuff really helps me bulk out my own finance strategies that I share with people on my page, because I was like, you know what? I have predictable income and I also have unpredictable income, but my money flow that I would default use is different than what I would suggest to you who has really varying income. And so I feel like it really helps me just like work through different scenarios, financial organization wise.
Yeah.
And a lot of people have no idea that the only reason I have like money flows and money organization that factors in all these different things is because you and I talk about money and you share with me about your financial situation. And when you go, yeah, I'm doing this thing with my budget, but I'm not sure how to get from point A to point B. And I go, I've never even considered that. Let me think about that for a minute.
Yeah. No, I loved that. I even like felt that when we were hanging out and kind of discussing like how much money needed to flow into like my main pocket to create the month in advance of rent. I mean, the month in advance of bills that I'm currently working towards.
Yes.
And like even figuring that out, I could see us both like figuring out the puzzle together, which was really fun. Because like I too, through this like process thus far, have been like, oh, it's possible with like my income. Because it feels like when your income is so this varying, it feels impossible to budget whatsoever. But I felt way more at peace this month. I'm like, I've got I'm a menace right now. I literally, I feel like it was like 3 days after I started my crew finance, or like the day after we like.
The day you got the debit card, like.
No, it was before that. It was the day that you sent me the spreadsheet. I went to Trader Joe's, and I am a big fan of like getting a bottle of wine and sharing it with my roommates. But then like the whole bottle of wine will be gone that night because like I love giving people things. It was a big thing for me in college too, is that like I'd invite people over and I'd make everybody like a big pot of pasta, but I'd be spending like all of my own money on feeding other people and treating other people, which like I like to do but need to do a little bit less. But I felt like such a menace because I called my roommate and I was like, hey, I'm going to Trader Joe's and I'm buying myself wine and I'm on a budget now, so I won't be giving you any. So do you want me to pick you up some wine?
You said, I have a plan, and I want to stick to it.
I was like, I've been enjoying a glass of wine at night sometimes, and if we drink this whole bottle of wine, I won't be able to have that. And so I can't just be buying wine every night when I've got a bottle. So
you said, hey.
I said, I'm buying wine and cheese for me. Do you want me to pick you up wine and cheese and then reimburse me for that?
That's such a common issue that I am also familiar with, which is just the joy of buying people things.
Know.
Oh my gosh, I love it. It's so enjoyable. And that's why I had to create a loved ones account.
Yes.
Because so often it's like, hey, the reality is either you get something or this person gets something. And like we definitively need to be aware that we are making that decision.
Yes, I agree.
Which is hard.
Yeah, because
when you spend money on other people, it doesn't feel the same as when you spend money on yourself. Like it feels so much nicer a lot of the time. So it's like, oh, the consequences of this, it doesn't even matter because like look how happy they are, but there are consequences.
But they also wouldn't want you to be financially distressed. So important too. That's the tough thing. Is like I was literally buying flowers for 2 of my loved ones, and I was like, oh, if I buy these flowers, then like I'm gonna be like $10 over my fund money. I'm gonna subtract that, but I want to make sure they know they're loved. And then I was like, my loved one would not want me to be financially distressed. I could buy them the slightly cheaper flowers, and they will be just as meaningful. Because it's
really true too.
No,
like,
it is.
I think that if someone bought me something and I was like, I know this pajora, but I'd be like, I could have bought this for myself. You did not need to do that. Like, I'd be so pissed off, actually.
I have a really funny anecdote.
No.
No funny anecdotes? Oh, no.
Go ahead.
Actually, that's funny. Could you imagine? I'd be like, hey, I bought you a car.
As a thank you for opening my crew finance account, I bought a house.
I bought you a house. I know that's what you're saving for, so I just did it. No, I'm trying not to do the freaking task avoidance thing where I say something too soon. But I know, so behind. But I have been working on your birthday present. Because I never forget. I'm slow, but I'm never going to forget. But I was working on it, and I was hanging out with one of the kids I nanny today. And I was like, oh, yeah, I'm making this for my best friend Becca for her birthday. And she was like, why don't you just buy it? And I was like, well, because Becca's got like a good amount of money, and so she could probably buy it for herself. And like, this is more meaningful this way. And she was like, no, I think like if you got it from Target, it would just be more professional. And I was like, I don't agree, but
she said, it's ugly.
Oh my gosh, it was so funny when she said that though. She really was like, I think it would also just like be slightly more professional. And I was like, dude, why you roasted me?
I feel like I know which child this is, and
oh, absolutely.
It makes me feel more of a kindred spirit with her. It's like one of the most rude things I've said, because I have a history of saying rude things just like a knee-jerk reaction type situation, where I had a friend who went out shopping. She came back and she goes, oh my gosh. And this was a really, really frugal, money-minded friend of mine. She goes, I went to Forever 21 and I bought this top. Guess how much it was? And I was like, I don't know. And she goes, $2. And I went, looks like it.
Sad.
Why would you say that, Rebecca? What up with that?
That's not what, you know what? I do think that this, and I love her so, so much, but she does actually have that kind of compliment thing that you have. And I hadn't realized it until you said it just now. Because one time too, it's one of my favorite things she's ever said to me. She looks at me, we're doing homework. There was no prompting. Looks over at me and goes, Emma, you have the biggest nose ever. And I was like, well, do you like it? Because, like, you know, like, I was like, kids
Yeah.
don't. I was like, that may not be an insult. And also, I'm not going to take it like one because that's stupid.
Right.
I was like, do you like it? She was like, it's beautiful. And I was like, this is such a weird conversation.
I
was like,
clapped back at a child on accident.
you did?
Well, yeah.
What'd you do?
Because, listen, I think she was maybe like 6, 7-ish.
6, 7.
And I was wearing my
6,
glasses.
7.
I was wearing my glasses. Ugh. You better keep that under lock and key, woman. 6, 7. Get it together.
8, 9.
Anyways, I was wearing my glasses, setting the scene. I was wearing my glasses. It was the first pair that I had because it was a new thing. I hadn't worn glasses all my life. It was like I was a freshman, sophomore in college. I just found out I need glasses, so I got my first pair of glasses. And I was wearing them, and I was like so soaked that I could see. And this little girl goes, you haven't always worn glasses, right? And I went, no, these are new. And she goes, you look better without your glasses. And I went, you look better without my glasses too. I don't think she knew what I meant because she was a child. But what a crazy thing to just automatically say to a kid. What? This little girl, luckily I know her now. Like, her mom just texted me today and went like, hey, do you have time this week just like for a spot lesson?
Yeah.
So like, she's in high school now herself. Like, you know what I mean?
She's okay.
Like,
She's doing great.
She's fine, guys. She has really good self-esteem.
Yeah.
Okay. She's cute as a button. But yeah, at the time I was like, oh, yikes. I'm literally an adult. I was like, I'm like 20 or 19 or however old I was. I was like, I can't. You can't be doing that.
It's always such a different point of pride for me when like one of the parents hears me have like a good comeback to the kids too, because like my comebacks are so very like based in like my own confidence, I guess. Like I always swing it positive.
They're always so age appropriate. Like every time you have a clapback, I feel like I'm like, oh, that was stern but not mean.
Thank you.
I struggle with it.
One I liked that wasn't even stern. It was just like my kiddo joking with me because they love joking with you, so that's why I like joking with them. And I always match the kid kind of where they're at. And I mean, they've said it on Bluey before. Like it's like use your big girl bark if like something is too over the top for you, if it's pushing you too far. So my kiddos are really good about setting boundaries, and I love reaffirming that. But at one point we were just like joshing, and the parents are like within earshot. And I was like, how old are you? Are you like 92? And they were like, no, I'm this age. And they were like, but you're 70. And I was like, 70? I look great for 70. And then the dad from like the other end of the hall goes, that's such a baller response.
All right, time for shameless plugs.
Yes. You can find me on Instagram at IamEmmaBruno2. That's TOO. And TikTok at IamEmmaBruno.
You can find me on Instagram at r.sowden.money, and you can find me on TikTok and YouTube at rebecca.sowden. And I have a Substack. It is called The Life Ledger.
You can find this podcast on Instagram at Life in Quarters Pod.
And you can listen to this podcast wherever you listen to podcasts. For example, where are you listening to this right now? And you can also watch us on YouTube.